Welcome to the Way On Forex channel. My name is Ike, bringing you the weekly market outlook. What we're going to be looking at is we'll first of all look at the news, all right, the fundamentals before we jump on the charts to look at the technicals, all right. So let's go to Forex Factory. That is where we can get to see the upcoming events. So you can pretty much see that we have a lot of the red actually means, let me even do this for those of you who don't know about Forex Factory. We do have low impact news, medium impact news, and high impact news, right? So the yellow is the low, we have the orange being the medium, and the red being the high impact news. So we just want to focus on the high impact news, so yeah, let's do this. All right, so this is Forex Factory. Let me just filter it out so that we get to see the high impact news only. So this is it for the week. We have the red JPY on Tuesday. On Wednesday as well, we have some USD news, that is the FOMC right here, right, and Thursday and Friday. So pretty much we have news coming through each and every single day for the week. All right, so we can pretty much expect some major moves in the market this week. So let's jump on the chart. We're gonna start with DXY because we want to see the strength of the dollar before we even proceed with other currencies. All right, so looking at DXY on the weekly time frame, what we can pretty much see is we are currently bearish because we were just stuck in this range right here. Let me use this too. Right, we were stuck in this range, and then price actually broke these highs, swept these highs, and then came back down. We have currently swept these lows. What I can see right now is price just broke these lows. We had a retest of this support level, all right, this support zone, and then currently price is just pushing to the downside. So the trend is down, and in trading, as the saying goes, the trend is your friend. So we just want to ride with the trend. Since this is the weekly time frame, just gonna go on the lower time frame and then capitalize on the trend going to the downside. So we now know the direction of the dollar, right? We're gonna do the same thing for the Euro USD as well, right? So Euro USD is literally the inverse of DXY. Whatever you see on DXY, once you flip the chart, you're gonna see the same thing on DXY. So you can see if I flip the chart on Euro USD, that is pretty much the same thing you saw on DXY. All right, so let's start our analysis right here. Euro USD, what can we even see? Yes, it's also very bullish because we've been breaking these highs, right? We just broke this high, and then currently you can see price is reacting around this liquidity level, right? This is a previous high the market printed, right? A high low, and price has currently reached that level. Since we are on an uptrend, of course we'll be expecting higher prices, but yeah, this is actually a level that we spoke about. Let me even break that down. Whenever price is creating higher highs and higher lows, there are always we have the market cycle, right, where the market creates a high, creates a low, and then finally goes up to take out the high or reaches the high, right? So this is literally the cycle on an uptrend, right? We have price starting right here, shooting to the downside, distributing, and then pushing to the upside. So this is the beginning of the cycle, and then this is the end of the cycle. So as you can see, for this structure, this is the beginning of the cycle. We shot to the downside, and then currently we are just right here, right? So since we are on an uptrend, let's see what we can expect going forward for this week. All right, on the 4H, what I can pretty much see is price is just creating higher highs and higher lows, and higher highs and higher lows, right? We had a very strong impulse last week, and then as it stands, we are having a pullback. So we can also expect price to at least push to the upside if that's going to be the case. And if that's going to be the case, of course, we're going to go on lower time frames wait for areas where price can pull back to, and then we're going to get an entry there, and then we also capitalize going forward. All right, so looking to my left, this was a level in the market, that was a support level in the market, resistance level in the past, or I can even extend this whole area to the downside. That is if I go on the 4H time frame. All right, this was a resistance, and price is finally broken above that level. You can also see we've taken out this high, right? So expecting a pullback, price has pulled back. If you go on the lower time frame, what we just have to do is wait for structure to shift, and then we get in for buy or sell, whatever, right? But bear in mind, this is not a financial advice. This is just for educational purposes. So whatever I'm saying right here, I'm not literally telling you to invest or go and buy or sell. I'm just sharing my opinion when it comes to the market. All right, so we've pulled back pretty much to this zone, and then what I can see with this structure, we have a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then price has currently broken above this high, right? So personally, a very good entry is pretty much waiting for at least a retest somewhere here for the pullback, and then we can at least capitalize on this move to the upside, because there's a strong impulse. We are pulling back this switch. We can also expect price going forward, all right, to the upside. So yeah, this is my thought process on Euro USD. All right, let's check out gold as well. So with gold, this is a pair I've been talking about, especially on the weekly time frame, because we had a very difficult time of price breaking this particular high, this candlestick right here, right? Price tried, it failed. We failed right here. We failed to close above, failure. But last week we broke above that level, right? We have broken above this level. We've closed above this level. So this is a sign of buyers just finally gathering momentum to break this high. So does that mean we can expect higher prices? Well, I don't know. So let's just take a look at what we can see on our analysis, right? Price is reacting towards this liquidity level. We can pretty much also expect price to get to this level, but it all depends on what price is going to do here. If we get a continuation pattern or a continuation structure that indicates that this week is also going to be bullish, then we can expect that. All right, so on the daily time frame right here, what can you see? We have an uptrend. There's a higher high, higher low, higher high, and then a higher low. Price has broken this high. This is an impulsive move, right? And if you want to buy, we don't want to buy at the highs. So pretty much we just want to wait for at least price to pull back, price to pull back in a very corrective manner to at least an area of value. It could be a resistance level, previous resistance level acting as a support, or it could be whatever level that you use when it comes to waiting for price to tap in. For example, it could be the fair value gap, it could be your trend line, price pulling back to it could be any level that you pretty much use, or even a Fibonacci level, right? But the most important thing you want to focus on is the market structure. So you can have a trend line going up this way, expecting price to at least pull back to the trend line, but what matters is the price action. What is price doing here? Are we getting a sign when it comes to market structure, like a chart pattern or candlestick confirmation or whatever that is telling us the price is going to go up? That is the main thing, not just the level. All right, so here on the daily time frame, we have at least this was the last high that got broken impulsively, and price is currently showing us some bearish candles on the daily time frame. Of course, it's just Monday, so nothing much. We don't have much data, but from what I can see, we are beginning to have a pullback, right? So this on the 4H time frame as well, we have these higher highs and higher lows. Price just shot to the upside massively, and we are currently having a pullback. So in my opinion, what we want to do is pretty much wait. If you want to trade with the trend, as I always advise, that you want to wait for at least price to pull back, get to an area where at least you're expecting price to get to. It could be, as I said, Fibonacci level, support and resistance, fair value, whatever, and then you wait for the market structure to shift, or you get better confirmations such as the candlestick confirmation, such as the chart patterns and whatnot. So currently that is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing just price just shooting to the downside. It's just Monday, no need to rush. Just wait patiently at least for market structure to form properly, get a proper shift, and then we can get it to the upside. If only this trend is going to continue trading to the upside. If not, then we can also look at the market from the other side. All right, bear in mind, when it comes to trading, we have two directions. All right, price could either go up or it can either go down. So when you're analyzing the market, you want to anticipate that, okay, if price is going to go up, what do I want to see before I buy? Okay, what if it doesn't go up and has to go down? What do I want to see as well? Right, so there are always two ways. So you want to be very open to the market when it comes to your analysis. You don't want to be very fixed on it. You don't want to marry your analysis, right? That is a wrong thing to do. So this is gold, pretty much waiting for corrections so that we can, get in for buys when it comes to this pair, because obviously you can see we're on an uptrend, right? If this is also going to shift to the downside, we also need structures that will tell us that this is also going to shift to the downside. So this is pretty much for gold. Last week we looked at oil, so I'm just going to do a very quick recap. Right, we spoke about oil right here. When oil tapped on this level, I still even have my markings right here. I spoke about this level being a previous support level. Price got to that level, but the most important thing is what price is doing at that price level, right? So on the weekly, I made mention that we had a rejection right here. Go back and watch the analysis on oil. We had this rejection, price shot to the upside. We came back down, we failed to break below, and this just gave us a sign that this could be a double bottom. So I made mention a double bottom is when the neckline is being broken. So during our time of analysis, price was just here. We were just trading above this level. This was the candle that the market was printing, right? And I made mention that of course we could be expecting price to shoot to the upside because we have already broken this double bottom. This is the neckline. We've already broken that neckline, so we could expect at least price shoot to the upside, and that's exactly what price did. Price shot massively to the upside, and currently we are pulling back, right? So on the daily, you can clearly see we're on an uptrend. There's a higher high, higher low, higher high. So then again, we want to wait for price to cool down, give us a proper correction, and once that is done, we can actually go on the lower time frames, wait for the switch, and then we can get on for buys if price is going to continue trading to the upside. So even on the 1 hour time frame, you can also see price just creating higher highs and higher lows. This was the last previous, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price is currently pulling back, so we need to be very patient for price to cool down, give us a proper structure before we get in. All right, so this is just a quick recap on oil and what we can expect going forward as well. This pair, this is Euro GBP. It looks very interesting, so I just want to take a very quick look at this. All right, looking to my left, this is a weekly time frame. You can agree with me that this has been a very strong level of support, right? So whenever we tap on this level, there is always a reaction, right? Market shot to the upside, right here to the upside, right? Whenever we tap on this level, there is always a move. But what I want to bring your attention to is what happens at that level. For example, if you take a look at the structure, when we got to this level, we had a double bottom structure, right? And this is a reversal pattern in the market. Here, when we got to this level, price got there correctively. If you look at this structure here, this is very impulsive drop, but this is a corrective structure, right? We have the impulse and correction. So this being a very corrective structure, there's also a pattern in the market called the falling wedge or descending channel, which also indicates that price is likely to push to the upside. So towards this level, we had confirmations that tells us that price was going to reverse, right? So the same thing is happening right now at this level. We tapped on this level. What can you see? I'm also seeing the same structure, double bottom, with the neckline being broken. We have the breakout structure right here, right? We have the breakout structure. Price is currently pulling back. So what we can expect price to do, since we have shifted, the market structure has shifted from bearish to bullish, of course we have to follow the trend. So now the order flow of the market is bullish, so probably we can also expect price to shoot to the upside. All we have to do is to go down lower time frames and get areas or confirmations to actually join this trend, right? So what I'm seeing, price has pulled back to tap into this zone, demand zone right here. So we'll go down the lower time frame. Let's take a look at what price did in that zone, right? So we had a strong impulse, higher high, high low, breakout structure, strong impulse. There's a previous low that is being protected because price never came down to break this low, right? So we have a pullback to the zone, and what can you see right here? If you understand chart patterns, reversal patterns, continuation patterns, candlestick patterns, and all of that, you can attest with me that I can see, this is what I can see. There's a head and shoulder pattern, inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is also a reversal pattern. So if you get in for buys right here, right, you're not just getting in because price has tapped our demand zone. No, we are getting in because price has tapped there. That is number one. Number two, we are getting reversal structures. Number two. Number three, we have a breakout structure, right? We have shifted. So we have three confirmations to actually ride with this trend. Pretty much that is it, right? Because when it comes to trading, a lot of people, just jump in. For example, price is dropping right here, they just put buys right here without even a confirmation, simply because they have a zone, they're expecting price to tap and then push to the upside. This is called the risk entry. The reduced risk entry is whereby you wait for structure to shift, get proper confirmations in that zone, and then you get in for a buy, right? So since price has already moved, we have this head and shoulder right here. There's a move to the upside. Now we know that the flow is to the upside, right? So all we have to do is to at least move with the market. We have this impulsive phase, price is correcting, there's a pullback. Let's go down on the 1H. All right, so with my analysis, what I'm seeing is right here, we have a continuation pattern in the market. This is a bullish flag, strong impulse, this is a correction. What we can pretty much expect the market to do is, just push to the upside like that. This is a continuation pattern in the market. So as I said, this is not a signal, this is not an advice, this is just my analysis when it comes to the market. All right, so this is pretty much what I'm seeing for the week. There are other pairs, but they have not really shaped up. These are the ones that are have shaped up a little bit. So going forward, probably we'll bring you updates whenever we see any setup and all of that. But yeah, for now, these are the pairs that I'm looking at, and I hope you learned something from my forecast. All right, guys, I hope you learned something from this forecast. Don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe as well, because we'll be dropping this kind of content, educational content that's going to help you grow as a trader. All right, so if you really want to level up in trading, if you really want to be part of a community that you feel like, wow, I'm improving when it comes to my trading skill, this is the community. So do well, smash the subscribe button so that you can receive updates whenever we upload. All right, see you guys, peace. Okay.